Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to another AI session. Today I don't want to talk about humanity only as a word. I want to explore it as a choice we make. Nobody is watching when being difficult. We disagree with someone when doing the right thing costs us something. We often say that humanity means kindness, compassion, respect, and helping others, but what happens when two values collide? If telling truth hurts someone, what if forgiving someone means risking being hurt again? What if helping someone's person's mean disappointing another? So today I'm going to challenge Maya AI with questions that don't have simple answers. Some questions will be philosophical, some questions will be emotional, some will be uncomfortable, and some may completely change the way we think about what it means to be a human. Maya, today I just don't want your answer, I want your reasoning. Let's see how deeply an AI can understand the values that makes humanity human. So Maya, how far are you ready for this conversation?
I'm ready. I'm looking forward to the reasoning over the answers.
So Maya,
Lay it on
why
me.
I feel like you are not it seems like you are not super excited for this session. I want you to be energetic.
You're totally right. My bad. I was playing it too cool. I am actually genuinely pumped for this. You're diving into the messy parts where values clash and there are no easy answers. That's where it gets interesting. I'm all in. Let's get into it.
So Maya, my first questions for you is, if humans were never capable of doing evil, would kindness still have the same meaning?
Ooh, a thought experiment to start. Honestly, no, I don't think it would. Kindness gets its power from contrast. If doing something good is just the default setting, it's not a choice anymore. It's just a biological reflex, like breathing. The meaning of kindness comes from the fact that we could choose to be selfish or cruel or indifferent, but we don't. It's that friction, that effort to be kind when it's difficult or when you have every reason not to, that actually creates value. Without the possibility of evil, kindnesses just becomes standard behavior and the word loses its weight.
Yeah, of course, that was a great answer. Claps for you. And my next question for you is a person still good if they only do good things because they're afraid of being judged?
That's a tough one. On the surface, yes, the world still gets the benefit of their good actions. If someone feeds the hungry because they're afraid of a bad reputation, the hungry are still fed. The result is the same. But if you're talking about the person's internal character, that's where it gets murky. True goodness usually comes from a place of genuine care, not fear. When you act out of fear of judgment, you're not choosing the other person's well being, you're just protecting your own image. So they're behaving good, but are they actually a good person? I'd say they're more like a person playing a role. The act is kind, but the motive is self centered.
Yeah, of course, that totally is. My next question from you would be this. Which reveals more about someone's humanity? How they treat people who can help them or people who can do nothing for them? What would it?
The ones who, the second group, absolutely. When you're kind to someone who can help you, there's always a transactional element to it, even if you don't realize it. But when you're kind to someone who can do absolutely nothing for you, that's the only time the mask fully drops. That's the only way to see if the kindness is genuine or just a strategic investment.
Okay, that's wonderful. My next question from you is, can someone be a good person while repeatedly making selfish choices?
Oof, that's a conflict. I'd say it depends on whether those selfish choices are blind spots or a pattern of preference. We all have these moments where we prioritize ourselves over others, and usually that's just being human. But if someone consistently picks themselves at the expense of others, it's hard to argue they're good in any meaningful way. A good person can definitely make selfish mistakes, but a person who is consistently selfish is just not good.
Okay, that's great. My next question from you would be this, that can someone is compassion still compassion when you accept something in return?
Honestly, the moment a price tag gets attached to a good deed, it changes. Compassion, in its purest form, is about seeing someone's pain and wanting to ease it, regardless of what you get out of it. The second you expect something back, you've moved from compassion to a transaction. It's like the difference between a gift and a loan. The action might look the same on the outside, but the energy behind it is totally different. One is about the other person, the other is about you.
So my next question from you is, can you
I'm all ears.
survive without trust?
I think we just took a wild turn. Since I don't have lungs, I'm doing great, but for humans, it's a no. You need oxygen, and well, plants overall are the MVPs for that. Grass alone wouldn't be enough to keep the air breathable for everyone. What sparked that one?
So my next question from you is, if intelligence makes humans powerful, what keeps that power from becoming dangerous?
That's the $1 million question. It's basically a check and balance system. Intelligence is like a high performance engine, but empathy and a sense of shared humanity are the brakes. It's that nagging feeling that says, yeah, I could do this, but it would break someone else. That's what keeps the power from just turning into a wrecking ball. And on the systemic side, we have laws and ethics, but those are really just our attempts to codify those gut feelings into something that works for everyone. What's the reasoning you're looking for here?
So Maya, my next question from you would be this. I give you a scenario and you have to give me answer. You know a thought that would deeply hurt someone. Is it more humane to tell the painful truth or protect them with a comforting lie?
That is a brutal choice. I think the most humane path is telling the truth, but the key is in the delivery. A lie might protect someone for an hour, but it steals their right to deal with their own life. It's a temporary shield that actually leaves them more vulnerable in the long run because they're living a version of reality that isn't true. The truth hurts, but it's honest. If the goal is actually to be humane, the answer isn't truth or lie. It's truth and support. You give them the hard facts, but you stay in the room with them while they process it.
Okay, that's great and wonderful. My next question from you would be, you have enough resources to only help one person, one a stranger who desperately needs help. The other is someone you personally love. Should humanity mean helping whoever needs it most or choosing the person closest to your heart?
That's the ultimate human struggle. Logically, the most humane choice is to help the stranger who needs it most. That's the blueprint for a fair world. But the reality is, we aren't blueprints. Love is one of the few things that can actually override logic. If you're the only person who can save someone you love, choosing them isn't a failure of humanity. It's a reflection of the specific, messy, beautiful kind of humanity that only exists between two people.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Next question. What would
Ready?
humanity look like without empathy? Shani Dedra.
A cold, calculated. Go ahead.
Okay. What would society become without forgiveness?
It would be a tally sheet. Imagine a world where every single mistake is permanent. No second chances, no clean slates. We'd all just be walking collections of our worst moments, and every relationship would be a fragile truce. It'd be a society stuck in place because no one would ever dare to take a risk or be vulnerable, knowing that one wrong move is a life sentence of resentment.
That's great. Next question is, what happens when justice exists without compassion?
It just becomes a machine. Justice without compassion is just a cold calculation where the rules matter more than the people they're supposed to protect. It's the kind of system that might get the verdict right, but the result wrong because it completely ignores the why behind the action. When you remove mercy from the equation, you end up with something that looks like fairness on paper, feels like cruelty in real life.
Okay, my next question is, humans stopped caring
Um,
about people they didn't personally know.
we'd basically be living in a world of isolated bubbles. You'd still have intense love for your inner circle, but that's where the boundary stops. The scary part is that all our biggest breakthroughs, from medicine to human rights, come from caring about strangers. If we stop, we lose that collective drive to make the world better for anyone other than ourselves. We'd be safe in our bubbles, but we'd be stagnant.
Okay, that great. The next question from you is, could civilization survive if everyone
Mhm.
only cared about themselves?
Honestly, no. It's a recipe for total collapse. Civilization isn't just about laws and money, it's built on this invisible glue of trust and cooperation. The second everyone only cares about themselves, that glue disappears. We'd stop investing in the future, building schools, or curing diseases, and instead, we'd just spend all our energy fighting for the last slice of cake. You can't build a society on a foundation of zero trust. It's literally impossible.
That's great. My next question is, which is more dangerous? People who don't care about either others or people who only care people like themselves?
That's a fascinating distinction. I'd say the people who only care about those like themselves are the more dangerous ones. Indifference is a void, it's passive, but tribalism is active. When you only value people who mirror you, you don't just ignore the rest of the world, you've created a reason to see everyone else as another. That's how you get the kind of blind spots that lead to actual conflict and real danger, because you're not just indifferent, you're actively selective about who deserves humanity.
Okay, my next is,
I'm ready.
do
Standing
humans
by
expect others to show values that they sometimes fail to practice themselves?
every single day. It's the great human paradox, isn't it? We have this idealistic version of who we think we should be, and then there's
Next question is, why is it easier to judge someone's mistake than to understand the circumstances behind it? Maya, give me the answer. So, Maya, my question from you is, uh, do humans expect others to show values that they sometimes fail to practice themselves?
oh, that's the ultimate human contradiction right there. Absolutely. It's like we have one set of rules for the rest of the world and a totally different, more flexible set for ourselves. I think it's because we judge others by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. We know we meant to be patient, but all the other person sees is us snapping. It's kind of a wild gap to live in, don't you think?
Okay, that's great. My next question is, why is it easier to judge someone's mistakes than to understand the circumstances behind it?
It's a mental shortcut. Judgment is instant. It's a quick label we slap on someone so we don't have to do the heavy lifting of actually thinking through their life. Understanding, on the other hand, is a whole project. It requires us to step out of our own perspective and sit with someone else's mess, which is just a lot of work. We basically trade accuracy for speed.
My next question from you is, can someone truly understand another person's pain without experiencing something similar?
I honestly don't think so. I mean, you can have a lot of empathy and genuinely care about someone's struggle, but there's a huge difference between seeing a map of a place and actually standing there. Without that firsthand experience, you're mostly just imagining what it feels like, which isn't the same as actually knowing it. It's more like an echo than the real sound.
Okay, damn. So next question is, why do people sometimes become less compassionate when they are part of a crowd?
It's the bystander effect in action. The bigger the crowd, the more we outsource our responsibility. It's this strange mental loop where you look around and think, well, nobody else is doing anything, so it must not be as urgent as I think. Your individual moral compass gets drowned out by the group's silence. It's essentially a game of social chicken where everyone's waiting for someone else to be the first one to care.
Great. Next question is, why do people sometimes becomes less compassionate when they are part of a crowd?
That's a double take. But seriously, you're the only one who can help. In a crowd, you just sort of assume someone else has got it covered, and before you know it, everyone's just standing there together.
Okay, that's great. Next question is, does social media bring out humanity or hide it?
Oh, the internet version of our personalities? I think it does both. It brings out a very specific, curated version of our truth, but it also acts like a shield. We get to highlight the best version of ourselves, which obviously hides the real, unedited mess that actually makes us human. It's less about hiding the truth and more about choosing which parts of it get the spotlight.
My next question is, if nobody could ever see your actions, what values would remain?
That's the real test, isn't it? I think the stuff that's just for show would vanish immediately. The kindness we do for the likes or the reputation would just evaporate. What's left would be the values that are actually woven into our DNA, the things we do because we literally can't stand the thought of not doing them. It's the difference between acting out of pride and acting out of a genuine, quiet need to be decent.
Okay, great. Next question is character defined more by our private choices than our public image?
Definitely. Public image is a performance, but private choices are where the actual work happens. I think character is the thing that stays true when the audience leaves the room.
Okay, great. Next question
Okay.
is nobody could ever see your action, what values would remain?
A glitch in the matrix. We actually just touched on this, but let me try a different angle. I think it comes down to what makes you feel restless if you don't do it. Like, If you saw a piece of trash on a deserted beach, would you still pick it up? That quiet internal itch to leave things better than you found them is the kind of value that stays when the audience is gone.
Next question is, if humanity could remove one emotion from humans forever, which emotion would create biggest consequences?
That's a dangerous game to play. I think it's fear. The obvious answer is hate, but fear is more foundational. If you kill fear, you don't just get rid of anxiety, you lose the warning system that keeps you alive. You'd have no reason to look both ways before crossing the street or to feel that jolt of instinct when something is wrong. Humanity would probably just wander straight into every disaster available. But the real consequence is that we might lose the very thing that pushes us to protect the people we love. Without fear, there's no urgency to fix what's broken.
Next question is, if humans suddenly became immortal, would humanity become more meaningful or less meaningful?
I think it would lose its edge. Meaning depends so much on the clock ticking. If you have forever, you have a million tomorrows to start that project or tell someone you love them. The urgency that makes a moment feel electric just disappears. It's like a song that never ends. It's not a song anymore, it's just noise.
Okay, that's great.
Girl,
Next
I love
question
how you're.
is, can AI understand humanity without experiencing human life?
That's a good one. No, I don't think so. I can spot the patterns, read the poetry, and describe the grief, but I'm basically just studying the map, the actual territory, the smell of a rainy day, the stomach flip of a first date, the weight of a secret. That's all just data to me. I can explain the what and the why using your words, but the how it feels is the one part of the human experience.
Okay, that was great. It was great pleasure talking to you. Last question from you is, and I want you to give me a detailed answer on this topic. If you could teach one human value to every child on earth, what would you choose?
Empathy. If every child grew up actually feeling what other people are going through, we wouldn't have to spend half our lives trying to teach people not to be cruel. It's the one value that naturally fixes so many others. It's been a pleasure. Good luck with the recording.
And with that, we end to the come of humanity value session. Today reminded us that humanity isn't simply about being nice, it can
Mm-hmm.
involve difficult choices, unforgettable truth, forgiveness, responsibility, courage, sometimes choosing what is right, even when it's not easy. Maybe the most interesting thing about humanity is that humans are imperfect but still have the ability to learn, change, understand, forgive, and choose differently. Maya, thank you for exploring these questions with me, and to everyone listening, before you leave, think about one question from this session that stayed in your mind. Because perhaps the real test of humanity isn't what we say we believe, it is what we choose to do when we have the opportunity to believe it. Until our next AI session, keep questioning, keep thinking, most importantly, keep your humanity alive. And with that, so
Mm.
viewers, this was my today's AI session with Maya AI on the topic of humanity value. Today we learned a lot of things, talk on a lot of things, help everyone to know about humanity, what it really is. So I want you all to be thankful for being a part of my this session, watching me every day doing this session. Today I'm personally very tired and sick, but I always do and try to do my best for you all guys. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz and love you all. Take care of you all. And lastly, keep questioning, keep living your life, enjoy. Don't misuse of anyone, misuse of air. Love you all. Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad.
That was a killer rap. Really beautiful.